Today, we'll be drawing Wreck-It Ralph. I know you've seen me draw many Disney princesses, but in Wreck-It Ralph, they have all of them. We'll be doing something super challenging today and drawing 10 Disney princesses. There are more, and I might miss a few, but I hope I got your favorites. So, let's jump right into it.
ROSSDRAWS! Disney Princesses Battle Royale.
And then you're gonna wanna get your candy. You know, every artist has a stash of candy somewhere, and it's gonna be super useful for this process. So, what you wanna do is grab a bunch of candy that corresponds to the color, because it matters, and you're gonna wanna think about it. Take a moment, breathe in, and then, wow! Look at that, amazing. The more candy you have, the more colors you can make. Let's grab some gummy worms. Awesome. Which one should we do next? Let's do Merida. Merida from Brave. So we're gonna take this blue and orange gummy worm, and we're literally gonna, now we have the colors from Merida, and it looks super great. You can also mix and match. Say for Tiana, you know, I have a cookie, and then there's some green for her dress. Let's do this real quick. Oh my God, look at that.
Alright, I'm taking a break from making really boring and depressing videos on capitalism and starving artists to make this video. Because I, as a fan of Ross, have watched all of his videos, and in the comments there's always one thing that keeps coming up. Something along the lines of, I love your work and I keep watching your videos and drawing a lot, so why do all my drawings suck? To be honest, this is a comment you tend to see with a lot of artists who have a large online following, but here it's a bit different, because it seems that some of these people might have only been exposed to Ross's videos and are not quite sure on how to get to wherever he is. So let's see how to learn from other people's art videos. Okay, let's see. I'm going to be using one of Ross's videos as a guide, but what exactly am I going to be drawing today? Cute anime girl. Nah, I already did that recently. Cute anime girl? Okay. Cute anime girl. Ross sure does love this particular subject. Alright, cute anime girl it is. But I can't just copy his videos one for one, so what I'll do instead is I'll draw one of his characters in a similar style and see what I can learn from the process, alright? Let's go. What some people don't quite understand is that ROSSDRAWS is an entertainment channel. While he sometimes gives tips, that's not the point or focus of his videos. The problem arises when newer artists try to use Ross's and similar YouTubers' videos as a vehicle for learning art. And while some of you more experienced artists might be asking, why would they do that? You need to understand that we've all been there. We see an artist who inspires us with their work, then we buy our sketchbooks and tablets, only to find out that watching someone create art and learning to create art are two very different things. Ross starts most of his videos with the line art already done because that is the hardest part. Coming up with an idea and finding the right composition are two of the most important parts of any painting, so I'll see you in a bit. I can't do this if you're watching. Now, some of you might be asking, is it impossible to learn from a video whose goal is to entertain? Well, no, but you need to use it as a supplement to a much more focused way of learning, i.e. books, art schools or ateliers. Because learning from videos, while beneficial, can also have its drawbacks. What you need to understand is that every artist tells their audience a lie. Yes, a lie, by omission. By making their work seem effortless, while it was in fact very difficult to make, with multiple mistakes made along the way that you will never get to see. And without this crucial detail, no matter where you are with your work, if you are trying to learn from other artists, you are always comparing yourself and your work to an idealized version, a perfect version that always seems to know what to draw and how to draw it, without messing up or making mistakes. You only get to see the final result. Even if Ross is showing you his process, what you are actually seeing is the edited final version of it. You only see what he wants you to see. And Ross's channel is trying to sell an idea, a brilliant idea mind you, of making art as a vibrant, light-hearted, fun experience, which is why I love it. Because in my reality, being an artist involves being out of shape while staying indoors drawing cute anime girls while your friends go skiing without you. And in a premise like his, there is no place for messing up or showing the parts where he's frustrated because something isn't turning out right. He doesn't show you when he has to restart an image because the comp or anatomy is off, and he definitely doesn't tell you that he ran out of time and needed to get the episode out and isn't quite happy with the final product. His show is relatively short and he definitely cannot show everything, so he's only going to keep the entertaining stuff and, well, discard the rest. But this might leave his viewers with a skewed perspective on how artists actually work. And when they sit down to create artwork of their own, they start to panic and get anxious because they are struggling and artists, real artists, don't struggle. At least they haven't seen any artist they admire struggle or mess up, especially artists that draw live with such confidence, like ROSSDRAWS. As an aside, not only do artists like ROSSDRAWS and ROSS draw a similar subject over and over, which reduces the amount of mistakes they make because it's a familiar subject, but in the case of ROSSDRAWS, he's been drawing since before I was born, but we only tend to focus on where he currently stands. Ross's rendering style is very simple, which is good. He keeps a lot of the lines in his work and just paints over them as needed. He also very frequently uses hue instead of value to define the forms of an object. I also like how Ross draws eyes. I've been having trouble with stylized eyes, and the way he does it works really well. Now, it might be unfair to focus on the ROSSDRAWS channel because, as I said, it is purely for entertainment purposes. But he does release tutorials in his Patreon, where he shows us a time-lapse with him narrating the process of creating that particular piece. Again, these are very useful if you already have some experience and are just looking to learn some techniques. But if you're just starting out, it might not be exactly what you're looking for. Ross's videos of his process are very flashy and is great for spectacle, but it does not cover any of the fundamentals that are, well, fundamental in learning to create artwork. What I'm trying to say is that you should buy my and I'm just kidding, I don't have any. Ross uses a lot of photo textures in his work in order to achieve a desired effect, something that I'm not very comfortable or good at, to be honest. But I'm going to try it here in order to get better at it. While you should always be willing to try new and different techniques, you should never feel forced or pressured to do something that you're not particularly comfortable with because someone you admire does it. Just take what you like and discard the rest. Which leads me to the most important part of the video. How do you learn from other artists? Specifically, how do you learn from another artist without wasting time and picking up bad habits? Because artists, even the ones you admire, are not flawless. Well, maybe except Jason Chan. They have crutches and make mistakes just like everybody else, and you should be critical when watching their tutorials. Because just because their work is good, doesn't mean that everything they say is accurate or helpful. Ross uses color dodge as a catchphrase in his show, and he also uses it frequently in his paintings, but if you study digital art, you probably have heard a lot of artists tell you to never use the dodge and burn tools, so I'm going to tell you why. Disclaimer, you can and should use every tool available to you, but knowing when to use it and when not to use it is very important as well. A lot of new artists, myself included, have at some point used the color dodge tool as a way to light our subjects, but this is not how light works. As color dodge, we eventually blow out the light to white, when in reality the lightest part of this object would be the color of the light and not white. Now, not all of ROSSDRAWS viewers are artists, but a lot of them are. And when I see these artists on the start of their lifelong journey struggling to learn how to draw, despite watching countless videos, it reminds me of myself a decade ago, when I would buy or borrow all the how to draw books I could find, like these ones, or these ones by Christopher Hart, and feel incredibly frustrated when my drawing skills simply would not improve, despite copying all these books. In fact, I stopped drawing for many years because I just couldn't figure out why my work wasn't improving. So how do we fix this? Well, step 1, learn from life. Even if you wish to draw in a stylized manner like Ross, you still need to know how to draw realistically, because only if you know how to draw something properly can you truly learn how to stylize it. Now, you might be thinking that realism is really boring, and to be honest, you really want to draw cute anime girls anyway. And you're not wrong. Realism can be boring, especially if you have bad teachers, but just remember that Ross went to art school and had to do the boring stuff too. If only all those how to draw books had told me this, I would be a much better artist today. Step 2. Take your time. While you can copy an artist's work, you cannot copy the years of experience it took them to get to where they are by watching a video. This is another trap we tend to fall into. Learning to draw like Ross or any other artist for that matter is not a short-term goal. And for most people, learning art will be the first time in their life they have ever set themselves a long-term goal. It was for me. And it's really easy to get frustrated when we don't see quick results. This is especially scary because on YouTube there are a lot of people who try to take advantage of beginner artists by telling them that all they need to do in order to get good as them is to buy their tutorials or support their Patreon without giving these artists actual help, because they depend on these artists needing their help to make a living. But that's a video for another day. Just remember to pace yourself and enjoy the journey. Drawing should be both fun and enjoyable. I mean, that's why we all watch ROSSDRAWS in the first place, right? One of the things that I say a lot of us do when trying to learn from other artists' videos is that we try to copy them one for one, We really admire these artists, so we want our work to look like theirs, but this is really limiting. And also, when someone sees your work, you want them to go, wow, that's awesome, and not, huh, Ross did that better. I probably should stop then. And here's how the piece turned out. The hell is that? Okay. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful and entertaining, and if you want more videos like this, be sure to check out my Patreon. It's not only where I post future videos, but also where I post my illustrations and the process I used to make them. It's a pay what you want system, so for just $1 you get access to everything. Anyway, I'm Style Osunde, this has been Flow, and remember, eat, sleep, art. Bye. Whew. What? That's it, the episode's over. Get out of my house.